Okay.
Good.
So I'll start now. Hi everyone. So I just I met a few of you last time. My name's John Hardy. I'm based in Melbourne in Australia. I came to Forth in the early 80s, but never really had an opportunity to use it that much. But I recently started to get back into some of the things I was doing in the 80s, including 8-bit computing, some Z80 stuff. And I was a little bit frustrated with assembly language, which was something I hadn't done for quite a long time. I had to relearn it. And it was quite an interesting process because I got fast at it again. In fact, I ended up, I think, getting better at it than I was at the time. But I was sort of interested in, you know, higher level programming. In the last 35 years, I've been doing other things. And in the last 25 years, I've been doing web development primarily. So I was wanting to look at virtual machines that I could implement. And then it came back to me that Forth is a virtual machine that is quite easy to implement in a few K. So as a sort of a project I started to be interested in, I started implementing a version of Forth in the Z80. I'm not the first person to have done this, but it was really a case of, I find the easiest way to learn something is to just get in there and start doing it. And I think it's a pretty common path in Forth is many people have implemented a version of Forth. Not everyone, but a great number of people, when they come to an unfamiliar platform, they start working in Forth. So I implemented that. So I'll just share my screen anyway, and let's see how we go. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Right. Okay. So just to give you a sorry, I'll just get that out of the way. Yeah. So what we have here is an emulation of. Yeah, I'm just giving you a little bit of a background. My talk will be brief today because I haven't been able to complete all the things that I was hoping to complete. Now, I'm just wanting to make sure, am I sharing the correct screen? What are you people seeing? Because I can't see.
We are seeing a percentage 0 spinning around like an atom.
Yep, that's the one. That's the one. Okay, so this is just my Forth interpreter running through some tests. So I've got them basically, it's got some unit tests running on a emulated Z80, running in a browser, running in JavaScript ultimately, but it does actually work on the Z80 itself as well. Then after this project, I started to become interested in virtual machines in general. And I was thinking about what I can do in something that's a bit closer to what I do as a day job. So I started to look into the fact that we now have we've always had, for a very long time, we've had JavaScript in the browsers of everybody's machines. A lot of people point out that, you know, JavaScript is a scripting language, which is not the fastest thing for many applications. It's certainly fast enough to run, say, an email program or something like that. But when it comes to actually writing something like a video game or a video processing thing or a cryptography algorithm, people have been wanting to run native speed code. So something that got added to the browsers over the last 5 years and particularly became available since 2017, is a thing called Webassembly. Webassembly is a virtual machine that runs in everybody's browsers. It's also available on web servers that run Node.js. And so one of the tasks that I've set myself but haven't completed yet is to write a Forth interpreter for WebAssembly. So to give you a bit of background, I started building tools for building things in WebAssembly. These tools are available. I've got some links at the end of this presentation for those who might want to dig a bit deeper. The point about WebAssembly is it's its own language. It's an assembly language, which means it's quite tedious in its own way. And I've been building tools to just try and make that a bit easier. To give you a demonstration of the raw processing speed that is possible, you just wouldn't try and do some things that we routinely would do in machine code on a microprocessor in JavaScript. It's just not able to do things at that kind of speed. So to give you an example, I have implemented this in raw WebAssembly. It should be pretty familiar to people who have ever done any graphics programming. This is Conway's Game of Life. And you can see here, and I hope that you can get a sense of the frame rates that are coming through here. This is the Game of Life, and it's a 500 by 500 pixel array that's being processed at 60 frames a second. The kinds of speeds that I would have dreamt of on a Z80, but quite easy to do on a modern microprocessor. But the point is that you can write this and ship it in your web page now. So anybody who can see that URL above would be able to click on that link and bring it up on their own machine. And that's one of the core things about WebAssembly, that I think it's an interesting target. It's not being heavily used yet, but I'm thinking it's a very good target for programming, and I'm in the process right now of developing a fourth for it. Of course, I've been beaten to the job, so there's actually is a fourth already in existence that I think is pretty good, called WA fourth, which has been written for WebAssembly. And if you go to that URL, which again, it might be hard for you to read off your screen right now, but I can post these URLs into the Facebook chat. This is a fully fledged. This is a fourth. So you know, it's all the usual stuff. And you know, I'm pretty impressed with it. I've been just playing around with it so far. You know, sorry. I'm just going to do a classic piece of code everyone should be familiar with. Oh, up to, and there we go. So that's running in WebAssembly. What I'm wanting to do is to get my Game of Life operating under fourth in WebAssembly, just to test this sort of process out and see what the maximum sort of speeds and optimization can be achieved. But like I say, that sort of stuff is it's a little bit in. I haven't completed all of these tasks yet, so I'll just say that some of these things are available on the web for you right now, and so I've got a series of links here, which I'll paste up. I'll paste into the Facebook into Facebook after this presentation. But anyway, that's pretty much all I have for you today. But like I say, I'm planning to have a bit more in the fourth side of things completed by the time we do another one of these.
Brilliant.
That's me. Thank you.
Wonderful, John.
Thank you. I'll stop sharing my screen if I can work out how to get back.
I'll remove the screen.
Oh,
This should be this share button.
There we go. Done it. Okay. Thank you.
You could post those links directly into the chat if you'd like to do that.
Yeah, it's a good idea. That's a good
Thank you
idea.
very
I'll do that right now.
As well. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Thank you.